Hi guys, I'm live. I'm by myself. I just wanted to do this podcast to go over a few things. Shouldn't be a long podcast. I didn't even send out notices that we were going on. I just figured if you guys found me, you found me. But anyway, as you guys know, probably here by now, Iose Epenesa is officially a Hawkeye. He has committed today, which is good. Okay. Um, He is the highest ranked recruit ever in the Kirk Ferentz era. He's ranked number 35 overall by on 3, 42 by 247. These are the two of the most respected websites right now. Okay, it looked like at one point he was headed to Miami, but I think you guys, I don't know who. There's But Epi, his dad, tweeted over the weekend that there were people out there doing dirty recruiting or negative recruiting, I should say. Um, and he didn't like that. He wants you to be straightforward, be honest with him, and don't run down another coach and stuff like that. And so, um, but I don't know. And so I think, if he was headed to Miami, then maybe Miami's the one that did the negative recruit. I don't know. Also, Penn State and Utah were in on him too. So that being said, but you already know that his dad played for Hayden Fry. Epi did. His brother currently on the team is Eric. I hope he gets to see some playing time. He is a linebacker. Um, and of course, you guys all know about AJ, who left after his junior year and is having a very successful career in the NFL as we speak. Um, so, um, so Yosei is 6'4", 270, and he might be the best. He might be the best of all of them. You guys see the pictures this weekend at Kids Day when he was there? Pictures of him and oh no, it wasn't this weekend at the Kids Day. It was this weekend where um, the Epinesa family was watching AJ in the preseason, and there's pictures of AJ and Yosei next to each other. I would say Yosei looks bigger, looks more physical, and he looks as physical and ready to go. I mean, he's going to tear up high school. I don't, he looks like he could take the Big Ten on right now, guys. He does. He looks like a man. So he looks like he's ready. Hi, Jared. I will post that. Happy Assumption of Mary. You're obviously Catholic. I used to be Catholic, so I know about that holiday. Um, okay. So, let's just see if we can get a little more information about what's going on with Yosei. Okay. Alrighty. Yeah. I'm reading here on some of the text that Tom Caker has said it came down to Iowa and Penn State. So could Franklin had been doing some negative recruiting against Kirk? You know that right now a lot of people are going to start to say that Kirk's not going to last. He's got 5 more years on his contract, guys. 5 more, or is it 4 more years? Okay. Um, what if he promised Epi that he would stay for his son until his contract ended? You know, I know that a lot of people, including myself, speculate that this might be Kirk's last year, if not this year, next year, that he's not going to complete his contract. And so, that being said, okay, hang on for a second. So honestly, Epi said in his text today is a very special day for our family. Our youngest son, Yosei, just committed to Kirk Ferentz and the Iowa Hawkeyes. Let's go Hawks. Epi has been a guy, very positive guy through this whole thing. Has not said anything negative. Okay, Franklin will leave PSU forced before Kirk leaves Iowa. Okay. All right. Yeah, there was a rumor out there. I don't know how true it is because I didn't hear it myself, but I heard it secondhand that James Franklin told the fans that if he didn't get the team to the playoff this year with a 12 team playoff that he would quit. So hang on, I don't. I'm just kind of stalling here. I wanted to get to my notes and stuff that I got on here. Um, yeah. So, did you guys hear about that 5-star O line Josh Petty lands multi-million-dollar NIL deal with Georgia Tech? Is that crazy or what? Is that crazy or what? It is. Okay. All right. Yeah. I thought there was. I thought I had more information on here. I can't find it right now. On other news, Jax DeJean, Cooper's little brother, who won't be here. Well, if he comes, he hasn't officially committed, but he's been offered to Iowa. If he comes here, has been rated a 4-star right now, 4-star player. So he's gonna start turning some heads, and he's gonna have some people coming after him. So Iowa's, we got to get this kid. We got to make sure that we get him. We have to. We just have to. Okay. But anyway, yeah. So Iose is coming. I know that's a big recruit. It's almost as big as when we talked about uh, Caden Proctor. Remember how big that was, and then when Xavier Wampag was coming, how big that was. I think we had a news conference. How excited we were to get those. That was a big news, and Xavier is working out. Proctor did not work out. Let's just hope that Epenesa does, and I'm sure with knowing the family the way they are, I'm sure that they will keep their honest word and commitment and stick with it. Okay. Yeah. So it is a huge get. Somebody commented a huge get. That's what it is. So, well, I know, I was hoping. I can't find my notes on Epi. I was gonna do some more stuff on him, but I can't find them right now. But I do want to go over a couple of other things that I wanted to talk about. Let me bring that up. The Iowa women's non-conference basketball schedule has been released. Okay. Um, Kyle Huseman has ranked the non-conference foes, and so we're going to talk about those non-conference foes real quick. Okay, they should. I don't know what they expect out of this team, but okay. They have 11 non-conference games. Number 11 will be Northern Illinois, so they should be the easiest. They were 7-5 last. Right? No, Iowa leads the series 7-5 in this series. So number 10 is Rhode Island Rams. They'll meet them in the Cancun Challenge, and yeah, I don't know if you guys saw on the website on my Facebook page today that I posted an interview podcast that had Callie Levine in it. She's so excited for the Cancun trip, and she really is a hoot. You guys have got to watch that podcast. Um, and so she's really a hoot on there. Okay. All righty. Rams finished 24-14 last year. Number 9 is Toledo Rockets. By the way, these rankings are based on Kyle Huseman. Husman. Yeah. Title of the pod is he didn't know it was going to be a women's basketball pod. Odd. Yeah, big Hawkeye. I did put it in the title. I had hoped to do a little more football, and I can get back to it if you guys will stick with me. We'll get back to it. Okay. Iowa holds 10-2 against MAC opponents, and say number 8's Northern Iowa. I'm actually surprised to see this a little bit low um, in the standings. But Northern Iowa finished 16-16 last year, 14-6 in the MVC. Number 7 is BYU. Um, they were 16 and 17 overall. Number 6 is Virginia Tech. This will be a rematch of last year's game that they had. So from the LA tip-off, they say that Virginia Tech has made more changes than Iowa has. They're much larger, but they got a new head coach. But they brought in a whole mess of transfer portal people, including a Michigan State transfer who averaged 10 points last year for Michigan State. Okay. Number 5 is Washington State. They're 21 and 15 last year, and they advanced to the semifinals of the WBIT. Cool. Okay. Number 4 is the Kansas Jayhawks. We have never beaten Kansas Jayhawks, according to this. They were 20 and 13 last year, and they too loaded up with a whole mess of um, transfer portal people, including a Wisconsin girl. Number 3 is Drake. We played them in Des Moines this year, and Iowa barely escaped the last 2 times we played in Des Moines, averaging about 6 points. An average of the outcome being an average of 6 points there, and so be a true road game. And number 2 is Tennessee Volunteers. They had a 20 and 13 record last year, and they got to the second round of the NCAA. They too went shopping in the transfer portal, and so they bring in an Arkansas guard, Syracuse forward, added a person from Clemson. So yeah, okay. And as you guys probably suspect, Iowa State will be the number 1 team on here, who finished 21 and 12 last year. They bring back all 5. No, I'm sorry, 3 of the 5 starters. I apologize, but 2 of those girls got a lot of playing time. Okay. So yeah, and so but they also loaded up with transfer portal people, Marquette, Oregon State people. And so they're going to be our toughest game, and they will be, and it's going to be in Iowa City. So everybody shows up, and hopefully, yeah. So hats off to the U.S. Olympic athletes and Spencer Lee. Yeah, Iowa had several. See if I can find that for you. Let's go over those real quick. They had several Olympians, and let's see if I can find them real fast. We'll get back to football, guys. We'll get back to football. Just hang with me, okay? I appreciate it. What, Jared? Iowa SU. You talking about football or women's basketball? Because I would consider them both a toss-up. Okay, here we go. I'm gonna name the names. Okay, we got Spencer Lee. We've got Kennedy Blades, a sophomore, who took silver. We've got Brittany Brown in USA Track, who took bronze. All right. Eve Stewart. She did it in rowing, but she did it for Great Britain, not USA. Megan Gustafson. She played in the Olympics for Spain, not USA. Peter Jock played South Sudan. Basketball, no medals. Chloe Lacoste played for Canada on the soccer team. Cassie Lee is a freshman at Iowa. Joined the Canadian artistic gymnastics team. Tommy Taitomi, help me out, guys. She was just on the Iowa basketball team 2 years ago, but she played on the Nigerian team and for the Olympics. And another freshman, Aurelia Tran, was an Canadian artistic gymnast, and Sydney Turner, a freshman, was also another Canadian gymnast. So they all participated in the Olympics, and looks like Iowa's going to have a heck of a gymnastics team this year. Okay. All right. So going through that. All right. All right. Let's go and you mean the men have never done better than a bronze ever? Wow, that's crazy. Okay. I got a feeling you guys aren't interested in soccer. I'm going to take that off of there. I don't think you guys want to talk soccer. Let's talk some football. Okay, let's talk some football. You know, I'll do soccer another time, but I don't think anybody here wants to see soccer. If you do, let me know. But I have a lot of notes on soccer right now. Okay, so let me try to find that article that I was talking about before. See if I can find it. Maybe I'm looking in the wrong place. We'll look there. Okay. Mm. Okay, I got one more place I can look. If not, then I lost it somehow. Okay. Okay, looks like all right. So he's a five-star prospect, Iose is. As we talked about earlier, he took official visits to Penn State, Miami, Utah, Missouri, and Iowa. He's decided to come to Iowa. What kind of impact does that make? We don't know. First of all, it gives the 2025 class a massive boost. So their ranking will go up, but they've only got like 13 or 14 people in the class, and they're going to keep that small, especially since they have to get down to 105 people on the roster next year. By the way, they're talking about if you saw Tyler Barnes' interview or heard any part of it, it sounds like they're talking about maybe landing at 25 scholarships and leaving 10 open for walk-ons and transfer portal people. Which isn't a bad thing. I mean, it's ever how schools can do with that 105 what they want. The way they want to do it. They can even do partial scholarships. Divvy out the partial scholarships if they want to. Um, so yeah, we also got that one kicker, Scott Starziki. He was also, I think, a 5-star at one point. I think I don't know if he's still that. Is that so? So anyway, we got a defensive lineman, a particular edge rusher. That's what I think we've been lacking the last couple seasons. Is a really good edge rusher, somebody who can get to the quarterback and just force the quarterback to do things. I just think the quarterbacks against us the last couple of years are having their way with us. I mean, not all the time, but I mean more than I'd like to see. Um, and they also added another rusher, edge rusher at Brad Fitzgibbon. Um, so now they got an edge rusher from two sides. So that works out pretty good. And they got the legacy. They needed to keep a legacy recruit. Yeah, that's very good. Two of their most legacy commitments. Then they also got Mason Woods, who committed to Iowa. He's the son of LeVar Woods. One. So it does show that this article here says it shows that parents and company can keep their legacy recruits at home, which is good. Having a hard time keeping some of our in-state recruits at home though. We lost Brooks probably to Georgia. I don't think he's actually committed to them yet, but I'm pretty sure that's where he's headed since that's where he moved back to school to. And of course, Proctor, said yes, then no, then yes, and then no. I don't think he'll be welcome back to Iowa at any time if he ever changed his mind. um, so that just really helps a lot. You guys, AJ they said had 4.5 sacks in his freshman year. What I think you'll say is better. I think he's going to do something like that too. Um, so yeah, that's not the article I was looking for, but it's one I ran into while I was looking for it. So we went over the recruits earlier that Iowa had, but yeah. So anyway, Kaker kind of knew he kind of had this plan, and he kind of knew that they were coming. He was going to come. I mean, it was actually all over the place that he would probably sign today or commit today. I mean, and so it happened. It happened. I had tendency to take these things with a grain of salt. When I read these things, we're starting to get all over the internet. Sometimes it can happen. It can happen for you, or sometimes it cannot. Sometimes it's just internet fodder, and so I just try to not get too crazy and carried away. All right. By the way, in the 2026 quarterback, Cash Herrera has Iowa and UCLA as his early favorites. He's from San Diego, so he probably won't be coming here, but at least we're in the running. Okay. Generally speaking, how good are the majority of the Iowa high school football players compared to the rest of the country? Anybody can help Jared out here with that? That would be fantastic questions. I really don't know. I know that Iowa football and Iowa basketball is getting better and better and better. You know, um, and I think it started because when Hayden Fry came here, he made a point to recruit Iowa guys. He made a point to go after the best Iowa guys. He liked the big farm boys, so he can put them up on his O line and D line. He liked those big boys, and if they were farmers, he liked that even better because for whatever reason they were more disciplined. Um, Under Kirk's watch, he has continued to make sure that he gets the best he can out of Iowa. You know, the better that Iowa State gets, the harder and harder it is going to get the best guys. You know, in the state of Iowa. But yeah, I believe the football is getting a lot better because you're seeing a lot of Iowa players um, get to Iowa and even Iowa State from the state of Iowa. And I think guys grow up, kids grow up wanting to be, I want to go to Iowa. That's my only school of choice. I want to be that good. And so they work on their craft. Their dads help them. They get the private coaching. They do everything else. And so, yeah, I think it's getting better. As far as the rest of the country, I don't know. I mean, I would imagine Texas and Florida have some pretty better, probably have a little bit better crop of football players, probably. Um, Maybe the Chicago area has some good talent. You know, um, and there's talent coming out of California, but it just doesn't seem to be a hotbed as much as I thought it would be. Seems like a lot of quarterbacks come out of California though. And I live here in California, and so um, by the way, we in my town of Bakersfield, California, we have a guy who graduated from the local high school here where my granddaughter attends, and he is going to be a wrestler for Iowa this year. So he's probably on campus now as we speak. Okay, so alrighty, what do we want to do here? Any more comments, questions? There's a few of you online. I just kind of wanted to basically talk a little bit about you'll say, and I thought maybe we could talk a little bit more football, see what you guys thought. Um, one of the other things too is um, just thinking. I made my predictions a couple of podcasts ago. We've gone over the schedule. If you guys want to write down your predictions right now, go for it. And I watched the podcast last night, and I really thought it was kind of cool. They talked about their Mount Rushmore of um, quarterbacks from Iowa. Um, and so, I, yeah. Do I have a prediction for making the teams for which teams you think I'll think make the playoffs? Um, yeah, I can give you the first five for sure. The winner of the Big 12, which could be Oklahoma State or Utah, probably Utah. Um, Winner of the Big 12, either Oregon or Ohio State, but I think they'll both go in. I believe Florida State should get in. Florida State, Utah, Oregon, Ohio State. Um, who am I missing, guy? Oh, SEC team. Oh, that's going to be tough. There are going to be a lot of SEC teams that could be available. Georgia's SEC, right, guys? I think they're SEC. So I think Georgia. I think those are the five teams I think make up the top five. Basically, it's the four conference champions, and then one runner up in the conference will make it. So that's the top five. After that, Alabama possibly, Penn State possibly. Gotta write this down. I think Iowa will be there. I think they're going to go 11-1, so I think they'll be there. I didn't have I didn't have this written down, so I'm kind of guessing. There will be a group of five team in there. The best group of five team or the highest ranked group of five team will make the 12-team playoff. Um, shoot. Who am I meant? I don't think I've mentioned 12 teams, have I? SEC is probably going to get 3 to 4 teams. Big Ten will get at least 3 teams. ACC maybe 2. I see Big 12 only getting 1, the champion. I think they're going to beat each other up over there. I really do. I mean, they say that Iowa State's in the mix for that, for a Big 12 title, and honestly, they got tough schedule. They got a tough schedule to play. So yeah, Clemson's a possibility too, but they're an ACC team. I said 2, so possibly Clemson and Florida State from the ACC. From the I don't know what group of 5 team is supposed to be good this year. I really don't. That's going to be tough, guys. God, that's going to be tough. I think if Notre Dame is supposed to be good this year, I think Notre Dame could possibly be in there. But they're going to have a really good season to do it. I think anything less than 10-2 for them will knock them out. I think anybody who's not at least 10-2 will get knocked out. I don't think Iowa gets in at 10-2. I think they have to be 11-1 or better. But I think everybody else at minimum has to have, at the worst, has to be 10-2. I just don't see 9-3 teams getting in. I really don't. Unless you're Alabama and the committee wants to put you in there, go for it. Committee will do that. Or Texas. This is going to be hard because you don't know how Texas and Oklahoma are going to do in the SEC this year. And I've seen that both of them have been picked to make the playoffs as well by experts. And honestly, they coming from the Big 12 where they pretty much were the best teams in the Big 12 and, pretty much beat up on most teams there. SEC's a different story. They're going to be running into the Georgias or the not Georgia because they're ACC, right? No, I'm confused at where not Georgia, the Georgia, Alabama, Auburn's. Florida, if they're any good. I don't know if Florida's going to be any good this year or not. They could be downtrodden. Anyway, yeah, Florida's really, for a blue blood, they've sure taken a nosedive. Um, so anywho, I I think, if you guys have anything else you want to talk about, like I said, my Mount Rushmore. Okay, last night I told them that my Mount Rushmore was Randy Duncan, Chuck Long, um, C.J. Beathard, and I forget who the other one I said was. Because I was tossed. Brad Banks, probably. Brad Banks, and then my honorable mention, as a joke, I said Deacon Hill. You know, because we already know that he's not among the best quarterbacks at Iowa. But anyway, if you guys want to quickly type in your Mount Rushmore, okay. Yeah, yeah, Jared. The best teams from the Big 12 from the 1990s, Texas, Oklahoma, and Nebraska all left the Big 12 conference. They did. They did. They couldn't. But Colorado was among the best in the 90s too, and they came back. I keep thinking that Nebraska's going to go back to the Big 12. I predict they go back. You know, it just hasn't worked out except for a couple of seasons for Nebraska in the Big Ten early on. It just really hasn't worked out for Nebraska in this conference. I think they tried to bring in their in what used to work for them and what worked in the Big 12. And I think you're finding out how weak the Big 12 really was in those days. Um, just because when you look at it, the current Big 10, you've got consistent winners in Wisconsin, Iowa, Michigan, Penn State, Ohio State, consistent winners right there. Okay. And you got people that make a lot of noise a lot. I mean, the Northwestern's made some noise, and yeah. Yeah. Jared, yeah, they used to be the Black Friday game when they were still in the Big 12 together. That was the Black Friday game. And so when Nebraska wanted to keep the big Black Friday rivalry going, they wanted to rotate it between Iowa and Wisconsin, and eventually wanted Wisconsin to be the team that they played in the Black Friday game. But somehow it's ended up with Iowa. Only 1 year did it change, and that was the COVID year. And then they moved it back. They put it back, I believe, on Good Friday. They made the game on Black Friday anyway, even though the season wasn't over. That wasn't the season-ending game, but I believe that game was still played on Black Friday. That's the only time we haven't ended the season with Nebraska since Nebraska joined the league. The end of the regular season. So, yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well, I was kind of hoping we get some more going. I know I should have sent out some stuff. This was a last minute deal only because of Iose joining the thing, and so I think this is probably a good place to bail out. I mean, nobody wants to punch in their quarterback Mount Rushmore, and I gave you mine, and so I think it'd be a good time to leave. But yeah, Jose commits to Iowa Hawkeyes. Okay. You guys, we'll talk to you later, and it's been a good day in Hawkeye. Okay, let's see. Wait a minute. If Iowa doesn't make it to the playoffs, what bowl game could they go to? Oh, probably their usual Outback Bowl, Citrus Bowl, somewhere in there. You know, you'd like to see Iowa versus Colorado. We did play them a couple times, I think. Um, Let me bring that up real quick. I don't think it went well for us, but let me look it up real quick. I have it right here. Okay. Okay. Colorado. Here we go. I got it. We're almost there. Couple pages into it. I love this media guide. I hate the fact that it's going to be strictly 100% online this year. I'll keep this one around for a while. Play Coach Prime, right? Okay. All right, Colorado, where are you at? Okay. Yes, we played Colorado in 1988 and 1992. We lost both games. And we were ranked number 10 in 1992 when we lost that game to Colorado. And then we lost 24-21 in 1988. So Hayden Fry, who apparently didn't mind playing him. Yeah. What do you guys think about Coach Prime? I see he was doing a commercial today for chicken with this cowboy hat on. Do you guys think he's destroying that program? Do you think he's on the hot seat this year? Have you guys seen that article about the culture there? How he just seems to be losing the players there, and how his son's kind of running amok. I guess his son thinks since daddy's head coach, he can do what he wants to do. Well, yeah, I won't bring that one up. But anyway, beat Coach Prime. Yeah, yeah. I don't know what kind of season they're going to have, but I don't see it being a very good season. I really don't. Okay. Have we discussed KF lying to fans about Coach Bud yet? What Big Hawkeye is referring to is the fans have really about Coach Budmeyer were upset that we hired him as a wide receiver coach because he didn't have any experience. Kirk came out and said during media days, yes, he did. He did coach the wide receivers at Colorado State the one season he was there. However, it's Coach Budmeyer himself has came out and said he never actually coached the wide receivers. He was in the wide receiver room with his quarterbacks to help get the wide receivers and the quarterbacks on the same page. But as far as coaching them, he never did. And so I don't think Kirk should have made that statement, you know. Maybe he didn't think that him and Coach Bud might have had a little conversation about, Bud, why'd you do that? I already said you didn't do that. He was actually shocked when he was told that Kirk said he had wide receiving coaching experience. He said, "Oh, really?" He said that. So he was kind of shocked about it. So that's what he's referring to, and it makes you wonder what else could he have lied about over the years, like maybe Joy Labus, maybe. Okay, I've always felt that Joy Labus wasn't hurt as much as they said he was. Anyway, that's a different story, and he's gone, but he's starting for Central Michigan this year, guys. So I'll wish him the best because I think that all the fans wish him the best at Central Michigan, and at Utah State we wish Petrus very well too. Okay, I forgot to read that. As long as they win games, he shouldn't be on the hot seat, but it could be heating up. Um, Jared, if you're talking about Coach Prime, I don't know. I don't know how many games he's going to win. But he is coming back to the Big 12, so um, I don't know. I mean, the teams are getting tougher. Kansas State's always been good. Kansas is getting better. Iowa State is one of the favorites. You got Oklahoma State, and you got Utah. I mean, there's a lot of teams right there that any of those teams could win the Big 12 this year. I think something's going to blow up. All right. Big Hawkeye says, is it just KF trying to cover his booty, just like when he said Labus was injured? Yeah. Well, I think I beat you to the punch, Big Hawkeye. um. Okay. Deacon Hill, please tell me that you're being funny here. Deacon Hill, Joey Labus, Spencer Petras, and I don't see who the other one is. It's not coming up. Hmm. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I get it. I get it. You're missing one though. You still didn't come up with one yet. It's kind of like last night when I put Deacon Hill as my honorable mention. Those guys knew what I was doing. They got a good laugh out of it. Hey, Big Hawkeye. Before I leave, who's your QB? Mount Rushmore. Give me 4 names. Okay. Okay. I really can't think of who would be the worst QB of Iowa at all time. I think we had him last year. It has to be Hill. It has to be. I mean, in my personal opinion. Um, so that's just my personal opinion. Okay. Big Hawkeyes is Banks, Rogers, Big Rick, and Nate Chandler. Okay. All right. Got a couple of 1-year quarterbacks in there, but yeah, yeah, good choices. Good choices. They would make my top 10. I would put them in my top 10, and then you'd have to narrow it down to 4. So yeah. Anybody else online want to throw in your you know, uh, okay, okay. Say Big Hawkeye says Hill is the worst QB one in college history. They will make a trivia question about him. Who was the worst QB? No. Or how about this one? Which team won 10 games in 2023 despite their quarterback? Yeah, it's a good thing we had a great defense and a great. Um, Now Mount Rushmore running backs. Well, can you guys? I can start to think of some. If you guys want to start putting some up there for me, let me write some down real quick so I don't mess it up here. Okay. Alrighty. Yeah, he's on my list, Jared. He's on my list. Okay. All right. I came up with Ronnie Harmon, Sean Green, Nick Bell, and Cedric Shaw. Let's see what you guys got. Oh, Tavian Banks, Freddie Russell, Tony Stewart. Okay. Good choices. Good choices. Cedric Shaw and Sean Green. Yep. Yeah, I think those are good choices, guys. Anybody else want to chime in? Just go ahead and put yours on there. Otherwise, we'll end the podcast. But I don't want to do that yet. You know. Okay. All righty. I'm waiting for it. I'm waiting for it. All righty. Okay. All right. Guys, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna ask the questions and I'm gonna make up a whole show on it when I send out my next one because honestly we still got 2 weeks to kill before football starts. And so before our team starts, so I got 2 weeks to try to come up with some good stuff. I think we're gonna do this where we can get more people involved. The Mount Rushmores and stuff. We'll do running backs, we'll do wide receivers, we'll do quarterbacks. I think that would be fun. We'll do all that, and when I send out a notice, I'll make sure I get it out there so that everybody who wants to come in can participate. Yeah, Sean Green is neck and neck, and okay. guys, let's do this real quick. Okay. Maybe they don't put it in the book anymore. They used to put in the book. They used to rank all the players. So we're gonna go. I'm gonna tell you guys right now who the running backs are. That okay. The top running backs. Must be by, I don't know. That's kind of crazy how they did it. They didn't rank them in order like I thought they should. They ranked them by year in order, but yeah. So never mind. But Cedric Shaw looks like he had 3,600 yards total in his career, and 24 and 7 is 34, or I mean 31. So he had 31 touchdowns in his career. Fred Russell had 2,600 yards total in his career. Okay, blah, 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 blah. Cedric Shaw, we did him. Nick Bell. Nick Bell had just 1,600 yards in his career and 16 touchdowns. Tony Stewart, 1,000 yards. Well, these are actually the leading rushers. Owen Gill, guys, we forgot about Owen Gill. And Johnny Lazar. And Johnny Lazar played for some bad teams. Yeah. I think we could get. I think we could honestly. Yeah. Okay. Who was a fullback by design though? Can't. Oh, Bell. Bell was well. He still was our leading rusher those years. Um. Oh, put that right in front of the thing. Okay. Yeah. I want another running back with 1,000-yard season. I bet we get that this year. Um. I don't think it's going to be LaShawn Williams though. I think it's going to be Caleb Johnson. I think he's going to have a huge breakout year. He had a breakout year his freshman year, and he kind of slipped back his freshman year, didn't do much. But this is a guy who people thought were going to leave Iowa and transfer. They thought he was unhappy at Iowa. Guys, he admitted in an interview this week during the players' interviews that he had numerous chances to leave. He had people coming at him, asking him to get in the transfer portal and transfer to their schools, but he remains a Hawkeye. That tells me more than anything that that people who think they know it all every year and say that he's unhappy at Iowa, wants to leave, and will probably transfer. He didn't do it when he had the opportunity. So why, so that just tells me he's happy being a Hawkeye. He's happy where he's at. Okay, Jazz will waltz us to 1,000 yards. Mark my word. Wow, he'd have to ascend because he's like fourth on the rushing list right now. He's like fourth stringer. So he'd have to actually ascend really quickly and get some yards. Like somebody's going to have to get hurt in front of him. But LaShawn Williams, he's still hurt. He's been hurt since spring, and so he might not. Will he be ready to play or not? I don't know. Okay. Hey, Seth Wallace says he's a hot commodity too, and stayed. I must have missed that in the interview. But why would Seth Wallace say that when he's a defensive person? Okay. You think you got me going there, Big Hawkeye. I think you're saying something there that I'm not reading, you know. But if it was said by Lester, or if it was said by who's the running back coach? Oh, help me out, guys. Who's the running back coach? God darn it. Names always slip my mind when I need to come up with them. That's product of getting old. That's a product of getting old. Okay, alrighty. I think we had enough fun for one night. Um, he was being sought after. He was being sought. Jazz was too by other colleges. Okay, yeah. Jazz, jump in the portal because Iowa ain't gonna treat you right, but we will. Okay. Most week one Iowa running backs don't stay running back one very long. Well, it's the hot hand. So one week you're running back one, next week you're running back two or three. And one week you're running back three, then you become running back one. The hot hand, the person who can get the job done, will get the most carries. But Iowa likes to use two and three running backs quite regularly. They don't go to fourth and fifth running backs very often, but they have. So I think this Moultrie, Kamari Moultrie, he's supposed to be doing big things. You got LaShawn Williams, you got Caleb Johnson, you got Jazz Peterson. So you got those four right there for running backs. Plus you got the incoming running backs, Breven Dahl, who I'm understanding is working both with running backs and wide receivers, as is Terrell Washington Jr. Jason says on our previous podcast that Dahl and Weegen and who did I just mention? Terrell Washington Jr. will all be doing sweeps, that kind of stuff. That they won't actually be out there running in the flat catching balls. I disagree with that, but we'll see when the season starts. I think we're all anxious to see. It's just a little over 2 weeks away now for kickoff to see what we're going to present. And keep in mind, guys, that oh, against Illinois State, we might be about as vanilla as we've ever been. I don't think we're going to see a lot of flashy hot stuff. I think we're just going to see a lot of handoffs, the ball running, throw it when we need to. I don't think we're going to see a lot of much else because we got Iowa State on the schedule the following week, the second toughest team on our schedule, and heaven forbid we don't want to show them anything on tape, but and then we got Troy, and then we got Minnesota, and a week off, and then we go to Ohio State. So, if we can get through those first four games without showing too much, then maybe we have a chance at Ohio State too because we can keep them guessing too. But, hey, it's a pipe dream, right? Wouldn't it be nice to go into the shoe and just come away with a victory? And you know what kind of a victory I want? I want another woodshed victory. There we go. All right, I think it's time to leave. We're down to one person on the show, and so I think I'm going to get out of here. I'll share this as much as I can, and I got to re-edit this so that people don't think I'm going to talk soccer. All right, we'll get out of here. We'll talk to you guys later. Bye.